Okay guys, welcome back to another video tutorial for Project Station Invasion. In this video, excuse me, we're going to continue on with items, and we're going to add some stats to the items and create our items page. So we're going to come over to our item recipes, and we're going to add a load of fields onto this table, one for each of the attributes that we're working with. So we want one for accuracy, we want one for dexterity, might, resistance, focus and insight, and also one for health. So I'm going to go add them on, and then we'll come back. Okay, so we've got our health adjustment, accuracy, dexterity, might, resistance, focus and insight adjustment fields added in. All of these have a default value of 0, and none of them are unsigned. And the reason we're keeping them signed values is in case we want to decrease a stat. This would come in handy if you were wielding a giant ass blade and you want to decrease the dexterity, obviously because a heavy weapon would slow you down somewhat. So you'd add a minus figure in there, and if you have it unsigned, you can't use minus figures. I've also gone and populated the fields with relevant information. So our armouring, combat blade and gun all have stats now. So we can use these to create our items page. So what we're going to do is we're going to add another button on here, or we'll probably put it in between materials and refinery, and we'll call that items. So we'll go to our button of materials and just duplicate that and call that items. We also want to change the on-click, the load plugin, from material list to item list. And we save that. Now when we refresh this page, we've got our button which says items. So in order to create this page, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of the material list folder and just paste it in there, and I'm going to call this item list. Don't scan, and we also want to come in here and change material to item. So if we open this page up, you can see that we get a list of, well, this is producing a list of all the materials. So if we come over here and click items, we're going to get a list of the materials, just like we would when we click the materials button. So we need to change this page up a bit, and we're going to run a single query. So we'll get rid of these last two queries, 3 queries even. So we're going to select we want item ID, so we want user items dot item ID, and we also want we're going to select everything in the item recipes table. Excuse me. We want to get rid of this inner join, and we can just add on to the end of here item recipes, right, where the character ID equals the session CID and the item ID, we want the item recipes dot ID equals the user items item ID. And we'll change this. We want user materials there, user items there, like so. So we'll change the name of the variable that we're outputting here, and we're going to change this array up. So for now, I'm just keeping the name and the quantity. So we've taken the item name and the quantity from the row, and we now only need one output, which is for the items. So we first need to count the items. If the count of the items is less than 1, we want to echo out saying that there were no items found. Else, if we have got items populating the list, we are going to output the name and the quantity of each of the items, so we can leave them as they are. We want to change the compounds in the for each loop to items, and the header tag we'll just change to items. So now if we come over to our game and refresh it, we go to the materials list, and we've still got our list of all the materials. And now if we go over to items, we also want we want to fetch the quantity field from the items table as well. So make sure you add that in your select query. And now if we come over here, you can see one of our items, or our only item that we've actually got of armoring, we've got a quantity of 4. So if I come back into the user items table, and we'll add a field, our character ID is 1, we'll take item 3 and we'll just say we've got 3 of them and go. When we come back over here, we go to our items, you can see we've got 3 guns as well. So we know what items we've got, however we don't know what stats they contain. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a tooltip that will give us, that we can populate to show each of the item's stats when you roll over it. Okay, so moving on to the tooltip. The first thing we're going to do is we've started a new JavaScript file, and I've populated the JavaScript file with the foundations of our tooltip. Now, what we're doing here is we are targeting any attribute with a title tag, and we're looking for the mouse over and mouse out events. We're using the Jquery delegate function, and if I just pull this up on Jquery site, the description of this function is attach a handler to one or more events for all elements that match the selector, now or in the future, based on a specific set of root elements. So this is basically saying that any element created when the page loads, or in any pages that are loaded or brought in through the execution of Jquery, we'll also have this function or functionality attached to it. So although when we start off, let's refresh this, the only pages that we're actually initially loading is the map page. But any item, if we change pages, what we're doing is we're loading in a new page, and in order to get any attached functionality to work, usually we'd have to reassign all of the function, all of the elements with the specific functionality we need to reassign them. So the delegate function of Jquery bypasses the need to keep reloading this JavaScript file all the time and causing potential mess ups and any sort of like overloading. So we're delegating, we're targeting the initial document, and we're delegating anything with a title tag. We're looking out for the mouse over and mouse out events, and we're capturing the event using the e variable in the function. And we're going to use this e variable to target specific specific elements of the event. So we've got an if-else statement in here. We're saying that if the element type, is a mouse over, then we're going to execute one specific set of code, else we're going to execute another. So in order to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to first we're going to remove the title that we've given to the element, and we're going to store the title into a variable. We're then going to place in a new div box, which we will position near the mouse, and then when the mouse moves, we're going to have that div element follow the mouse around like it should do. Then on the mouse out, we're going to remove the tooltip div box, and we're going to reassign the title tag the specific title that we've taken from it. So we're creating a new variable here, and we're just calling it tip, and we're making this equal this attribute title, the value of the title. So anything that's held within the title value, or the title attribute, is now going to be assigned to the variable of tip. And then we're saying that this title needs to equal nothing. So we're removing the title from that element, so we won't get the standard title box pop up as well. Following on from that, we're appending a new div to the body, and we're giving this an ID of tooltip, and we'll go and create the CSS rules for this tooltip in a moment. And between the two div tags, we're actually inputting the variable of tip. So the title is now being held within inside of that div. We're then fading in the tooltip to 100% opacity, and then we're fading it down to 90% opacity, just to sort of give it a sort of like a pulsate in appearance. And then finally, for the mouse over function, we're now going to listen out for the mouse move. So the mouse move, we are going to change the CSS rules for the top and the left of the tooltip to the e.page y and the page x, so that the tooltip will move according to where the mouse is positioned, and just offsetting it at the top by 20 pixels and the left by 20 pixels as well. And then finally, in the else statement, so if on the mouse out, what we're doing is we are taking the attribute, we're giving the attribute title, the title attribute even, of our targeted element. We're giving it the HTML content of the tooltip. So basically we are replacing the tooltip we removed back into the element, allowing us to activate this again later on down the line. Then we're targeting the body's children, a div with the ID of tooltip, and we're removing it from the page, and therefore removing the actual tooltip itself, ready for us to load a new one in. So we're going to save this. We now want to give this some styling. So here's our CSS rule for the tooltip. We're giving it a position of absolute, so that we can manipulate the top and the left attributes of the tooltip. We're giving it a Z index of 999, just so to make sure that it's constantly on top. The display is set to none, so that when it's first loaded in, you don't get any kind of horrific box pop up randomly on your page. Excuse me. We're giving it a padding of 7 pixels. We're not we'll keep the text aligned to center. We're not going to change the font size. The minimum width of the box is 100 pixels. We're having a background color of black and a border color of, I think it's green, similar to our alert box that pops up. So we're going to save this, and on our item list, on this P tag here, I've just given it a title of hello for now. So now if we come refresh this, we go to items. When I mouse over the items, we should get the green and black pop-up box containing hello, like so. although when we mouse out it doesn't vanish. Okay, let's but as you can see, when we move our mouse, the tooltip follows us around, and we will go and fix the tooltip and find out why it's not. We'll just remove that and remove that and see if that works. Nope. Let me just see what's going on here. Okay. I'm going to pause the video, work out what's wrong, and come back and explain how I fixed it. Okay, problem's fixed. Thank God. Right. So, what I've done is I've removed the else if or the else statement from after this if statement. We're no longer checking for a mouse out against the title at the same time as checking for a mouse over, simply because because we're checking for an element with a title tag. The title tag vanishes when we remove it, so it can't find a title tag to associate a mouse out event with, if that made any sense to you whatsoever. So what I've done instead is we are adding a new variable called ele for element, and we're just assigning it as this, running through all the usual, the checking for a mouse move, and then we'd also check for a mouse out, and on the mouse out, that's when we're targeting the element, the attribute title, and giving it back the tip, and on the then removing the tooltip itself. So we get this, go to item, hover over, hover out, over, out, over, out, over, out. We could also put HTML into this. So if we come back to our items list, and I wrap this hello in strong tags, which makes this bold. You come back over, refresh items, you can see the word hello is in bold. Or alternatively, you can go to font, change the color of it to red, and when we reload it, you want to make sure that you either you want to make sure your tags are correct as well. Your quotes are escaped properly. Oh, flipping hell. Come on. Play ball, will you? There we go. So, there you have it. We have HTML elements inside of there now. And we don't get the annoying standard pop-up box appear. Which means we could also place images into here. New lined bits of text, so we can have a list of all the attributes for each of the items and display them properly. So I'm going to end this video here, and in the next video we will go on to displaying the item stats within this tooltip box, and we'll also start looking at unique items, so upgrading items and how we can identify the fact they are unique, and how we can keep track of what the unique items are, or what the unique stats are. So until the next video, I'll see you then.